Hi guys, Matt from Haltech here, and today on Haltech Heroes, we've got Shannon's 99 Pontiac Trans Am that we're going to be taking a look at. Okay, so looking in the engine bay here, I can see that it's not exactly standard. I mean, there's a giant huffer in front of the engine. Tell me about the turbo, what are we running?
It is a Borg Warner billet wheel S480 with a V1 race cover. It has a 156 hot side.
What kind of boost are you pushing through?
20.5 pounds.
Just over 20 pounds. Is that being fed into the stock standard engine? What engine work kind of handles that?
It is a iron block 6.0 that's been bored out to a 370 cubic inch. It has a Callie's Magnum crank, billet crank. It has Callie's rods, has JE pistons, all ARP hardware throughout.
Okay, so an iron block, that wasn't standard in this vehicle, right? It was originally an alloy?
Yep, it was originally a 5.7 aluminum LS1.
Okay.
Didn't want to push it, wouldn't hold up to the boost.
Okay, so you decided to trade the old aluminium, or aluminum as you would say over here, the alloy block out for a cast iron block. Where does the cast iron block come from? Are they
they come in your trucks, your vans, some
Yep.
of your SUVs.
Is that common? Is that a common swap?
It is actually, yeah.
Okay.
It's a direct swap.
Okay, so we've got cast iron block, we've got pistons, we've got rods, we've got camshafts, and we've got a bit of head work.
Yep, 243s off of the Corvettes. Just a little blend job from BTR.
Cool.
Just enough to make it flow.
So pushing 20 pounds into 370 odd cubic inches, what kind of horsepower does it make?
It made 1,028 to the back tire.
Okay, through transmission?
Through a turbo 400 and a big Ford 9-inch.
Ford 9-inch and turbo 400 tranny. What kind of fuel are you running this on?
It is actually running a GM flex fuel sensor, so I run it on E85, but it can run on pump gas just fine.
That's cool. So you're running a flex fuel sensor in there. Now, what ECU are you using with this?
I am running a Haltech 2500 parallel with a stock GM ECU so that I could keep all my factory gauges.
Okay, so you've got a parallel installation happening where you've got the factory ECU, which is controlling, I imagine, things like your dash and your radio and maybe your seat positioning or whatever the factory ECU controls. And then you've got the Haltech sort of coming in on top of that, which is running your fuel, your ignition, your boost, and those things.
Yep, two-step, trans brake, all that, bump box.
Okay, so obviously an automatic transmission with a trans brake and a bump box sounds like this is not just a street car. It sounds like this is something you might take to the track occasionally. How does it run at the track? Have you been there, got some times?
I have. I went to LS Fest this year.
Okay.
It went a 930 with the transmission bad.
Okay.
So it should be well into 850s, 860s.
Yeah, I imagine with over 1,000 horse, you've probably got a 8-second pass in you.
Let's hope.
Pretty soon.
Let's hope.
All right, so having a bit of a look over the engine, transmission, rear end, one thing that I do see in the passenger compartment is CO2 bottle in there. What are you using the CO2 for?
I'm using the CO2 to control the domes on the wastegates. Basically
so
boost.
Boost control.
Yes.
Okay, CO2 boost control. I can see you've got twin boost control solenoids happening here, and that's doing all of your boost control. Are you doing boost based on speed or gear or time, or is it just a RPM based setup?
It's just RPM based setup. I mean, I've got the equipment to do it by speed.
Okay.
Just haven't finished installing it yet.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe that's something you can work on when you try and run that 8-second.
Yes.
Okay. What else you got in here that you can tell us about?
It's got full tubular suspension front to back. Subframe's been tied together. The turbo kit is one off. Built it myself, me and a buddy. It's all stainless 4304, been back purged. There's a lot of time and effort has went into it.
Now, it sounds like you've done a lot of the work yourself. You built the engine yourself, built the turbo kit yourself, built the exhaust system yourself. How many hours do you think you've spent?
Ooh, I got well over 1,000. Well over 1,000.
I guess it's a passion, it's a hobby.
It is. You got to love it.
So as you were saying, one thing that is a little unique about this setup here is you're using a flex fuel sensor, factory GM flex fuel sensor, which is going into Haltech ECU. Why have you done that on this car in particular?
This car, it's driven more on the street than anything. You know, we have towns around that I can't get E85 at, so I don't want to be stuck in a predicament. So I can just swing in, grab a little pump gas, and cruise about my way.
Okay.
You know, it's driven everywhere.
Now, do you have, obviously we're in Kentucky at the moment, and so it gets cold in winter. Do you run it more often on gasoline in winter and then flex fuel, ethanol in summer, or does it not really matter?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I try to run a tank of pump through it here and there, but I mainly stick to E85.
Okay, so with the flex fuel sensor, it's no drama. You can happily run it on gasoline if you need to, if you can't get any ethanol, and then when you want to go to the track or you want to give it a squirt one evening, run it on E85.
Yes, sir.
That sounds like a really cool deal. Well, why don't we shut the hood, take this thing for a spin, and we'll see what it can do.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I'm pretty excited to be going for a ride in a 1,000 horsepower street car. So I'm Matt from Haltech, and I'll see you next time.